This is the coefficient of friction activity data calculation video. It's to show you, after you filled out this table, which I didn't do, but if this is all filled out, we just need to calculate the percentage differences, and this is what we're looking for. Notice we have an equation, two equations. We've got the kinetic force of friction is equal to the kinetic force, to kinetic coefficient of friction times the normal force, and we have the same type formula for static, where these two are both for static values. You notice this is just a linear equation. So that means if this is my y, this is y equals mx plus b, where the b is 0. So this should be the slope of the line if I plot my static force of friction on the y-axis and my normal force of friction on the x-axis. So we're going to do that. So I have my first point for me, the first point, data point I would put in, my x value would be 51.5, my y value would be 18.5. So I put that data point in, and then I put all those points in. So then I would put this personally in L1 and L2, but use whatever rows, whatever list you want, and then you do what we've done a dozen times before, the linear regression, and you get the equation of that line. And you do the same thing using the force of kinetic friction for the y-axis, and again I'll still use my normal force for the x-axis, so that won't change. So you won't have to enter that again. Then once you get that equation, the slope of that should give you the coefficient of kinetic friction and the coefficient of static friction. Then you're going to take that value. So let's say, for example, this is a made-up number. Let's say my equation was f of s equals 0.4 f of n. Then I would take that number from the calculator. So that's from the calculator, and I would compare that to this value, then this value, and this value, and that gives me my percentage differences. And I would do the same thing for this column. Now again, as always, by now you guys have figured out there's no reason for one person to do all of these. If you divide them up, then no one person, so each person would do about 3 or 4 of those and 3 or 4 of those. Unless you're in a group of 2, then you've got a little bit more work. And that finishes up that's steps 13, 14, and 15 for you. That's how you do that. If you still have questions, just give me a holler, and then just complete your worksheet. Good luck.